Executive Council. I want to refocus you people on 4 important issues that we have put on the table, so that we don't lose that particular focus as members of this movement. The first one is cost of living. And we unveiled these issues when we unveiled the committee, the parliamentary committee that we have selected. We should not lose focus on the cost of living. And the cost of living, we are looking at short term. What are the issues that we are looking at? Cost of food, cost of fuel, cost of electricity, and school fees. Other issues are long term. We cannot deal with the complicated fiscal and monetary policies that they are. Those ones we can deal with later. Because the issue of cost of living is easier to deal with, because it is the Kenyakwanza government that removed subsidies. The solution is to return subsidies immediately. There will be a major change in cost of living. The second issue is the opening of the server, which we can put together with the IPC reconstitution of the committee. That one has been understood very well with those who came here to talk about it. That is a very critical issue, and what you have seen here, as said by my colleague here, is treason. The people who did this are not even the commissioners. They are people who are working in the IT section within the IBC. These people are still in employment. They are there, who are used to steal this election. And I feel one of the recommendations is to scrap the entire IBC as it happened before, so that from the sweeper up to the chairman, they are all sent home, so that we have fresh people, committed Kenyans who are looking for those particular jobs to do them. The other issue that we are focused on, this party discipline, buying of leaders, buying of members of parliament, in the name of going to State House, being told that you are coming here for development. You know very well there is devolution, money is going to counties, monies are going to constituencies in the name of CDF to help in development. What other development are you going to State House to get, these members of parliament? We cannot build democracy in this country, sustain it, if members of parliament are being bought day and night in the name of development. That is the third issue. The last issue is the exclusion of other communities from civil service employment. You have seen what is happening. Even you, the youth, because that time, wakati ule, nyinyi vijana ndio mlikuwa mnasema hustler. Muniambie wakati huu, how many youth have been employed? All these people have been employed. From the CSS, from the PSS, and from the CASS. And even those who have been appointed as members of the boards, chairmen of the boards, telling me how many hustlers are there. That is an issue, because this country belongs to all of us, and we must be included, because all of us pay taxes. So we must be including that. Those are the 4 critical issues that we are focusing on. But other issues might arise, and we shall look at them as they arise. The other day in Kimaliza, I met one of them, and he was telling me, he was asking me, how is the financier? How is your financier? I said, who is this financier? At UHURU Kenyatta. Nikasema, when we go for this mass action, do we pay the people who come there? Do we transport people who come there? Do we transport them? It is only the address system. You mean these people cannot afford an address system? Do we finance those ladies who pour water on us? When there is tear gas, we use that water to wipe our eyes. Do we pay them? So which finance is here? And if UHURU can finance Raila Odinga this time, how come when Raila was demonstrating against him, who was financing Raila Odinga? And this is not the first time Raila is leading such a movement. It has happened before. But you Kenyans, as we live here, remember, we have had election disputes from 2007, 2008. We lost so many lives. 2013, 2017, and now we are on 2022. We must have a lasting solution for this problem. If we have to have stability and economic growth in this country, we must have that. But the mwisho, I'm surprised when RUTO says that we can't borrow for current expenditure. When people are going without salaries, and salaries is a major expenditure within the economy. That's how you grow the economy, by putting more money in the economy through the people. And the salary is the only equitable way of putting money in the economy. And that's why 2009, 2007, 2008, when we had problems here in Kenya, we had to come up with economic stimulus so that we pour more money in the economy to grow the economy so that people can get employment. Asante sana.
Thank you very much. I think that was our last speaker before I now bring our main speakers. And I will be requesting Adam the law that after mama na baba wakishaongea tutakuwa tumemalizia hapo, so nitaomba ya kwamba resolutions zetu Suba Churchill will read for us so that when I bring mama alete baba tufungie hapo. But before we do that, I just want to say 1 or 2 words. First of all, to appreciate the comrades and the young people of this country. To appreciate civil society, our religious leaders, private sector, and all those who have walked this journey with us. What Odinga said when he was opening these talks was that this place, this Ufungamano, where you are right now, are actually sacred political grounds. And the 2 leaders I'm about to bring to you have been part of that journey. I was a young man here, about 21, when I was a student at this university, when I saw Kina Martha Karua and Raila Odinga, Kina Orengo, with some of our leaders, patriots who have left us, Kina Jaramogi, Kina Muliro, Kina Shikuku, they have all gone now, Kina Matiba, Rubia. They used to come here. And they had very deep partnership with the civil society, with the private sector, with the religious sector. We used to meet here. This is where, as a country, we found our true north politically. When we wanted to find our bearings, our compass was right here. This is where we came to chart the course and the way forward. And therefore, I want to thank the organizers of this particular meeting and to thank civil society, because this war cannot be won without you. Indeed, coming to Fungamano is like going to the well of Rehoboth. This was where the genesis of no reforms, no elections started, right here. And there were many people you might not remember, many of you are young. Apart from the politicians, from the religious leaders, there are great leaders like Alexander Muge, they are all gone now. Bishop Henry Okulu, Ndingi Mwana Nzeki. Those were leaders, Kina Reverend Mutava Musimi. They used to come here to partner with these politicians. And from civil society, we had many people. We had Kina Maina Kiae of Kenya Human Rights Commission. They used to meet here. From FIDA, we had Kina Nancy Baraza. They used to come here and team up. And we used to work together with parliamentarians, those who are inside parliament and those who are outside parliament. Chinua Achebe said, it takes a village to raise a child. And indeed, it took the entire nation, all sectors of our nation coming to Fungamano, planning together, going to Chester House, going to Kamkunji, as we will be going on Sunday, to change this country. Therefore, I know Subachachi will be coming to read the resolutions. I want to agree with all the speakers who have spoken here. What Robert de Gaulle said, the general, the French general, that sometimes war is too serious to be left to the generals. The matter and the challenges facing our country, Kenya, today are too serious to be left to Parliament. It will take all of us, as Chinua Achebe said, it will take all of us, our parliamentarians, civil society, the religious leaders, the private sector, our youth and our women coming together for us to overcome the challenges facing us. Are you ready? Are you ready? That is why we are here today. The second thing I wanted to say is that when William Ruto, the leader of Kenyakwanza, asked Raila Odinga, the leader of Azimio, to call off the Maandamano, he did so with great humility, with great respect. He did not call Raila huyo mzee wa vitendawili. He called Raila my brother. He didn't call Raila huyo muganga. He said, my friend Raila. Today we are here to demand of William Ruto to tell his subordinates, beginning with Rigathi Gachagua, to address Raila and Azimio leadership with the same respect. The English say demeanor speaks louder than words. The demeanor of William Ruto when he asked for calling off for this Maandamano is different from the demeanor we saw the other day after his parliamentary group meeting. When we met as leaders of Azimio, we stood together with Raila Odinga and Martha Karua and Kalonzo, and we unveiled our team. But the manner in which the Kenyakwanza team was unveiled, ilikuwa njia ya madharau, and we were told by Gachagua, let Raila and kina Karua waende wa deal na Kimani Ichung'wah. Today we want to say this to William Ruto. Yes, you have your team, we have our team, but your demeanor shows lack of good faith. You have shown us a contempt card, as Jubilee is saying, and my brother Kioni has said this, by including members of Azimio who have crossed the political aisle, and which is one of the issues that we are going to deal with. Therefore, we are saying today we agree, and I believe this is going to be one of our resolutions, that as the talks go on, Raila Odinga will not go to talk to Kimani Ichung'wah and his team. Raila Odinga and Azimio team From Sunday in Kamukunji, we'll go back to the people of Kenya to deal with William Samoei Ruto. So we'll go on, and I want to thank you for urging us to go on with the engagement of the people of Kenya, as we did the consultations. And it behoves us now at this stage of the talks to go back to the people of Kenya to brief them where we have come from, where we are, and where we want to go. So we agree with you, and we'll walk this journey together. Lastly, we want to say those who are saying they cannot bring the issue of the server on the table. What we have been shown in Ufungamano today convinces me more than ever that indeed Raila Odinga won this election, but he was denied victory. And if Gachagua, I heard Wetangula, I heard Mudavadi and Ruto himself saying that the only way he can sit with Raila Odinga is if he recognizes the legitimacy of his presidency and his government. Today from Ufungamano, we want to say this, that legitimacy is not Raila's to give Ruto. That legitimacy can only be given the day the server is opened. I believe that's going to be one of our resolutions. And if he wants the recognition and legitimacy from the rest of Kenya, because so far he's a minority leader. Leaders have said he was elected by only a third of the electorate of Kenya. The silent majority is not with him. His legitimacy is in question until the day those servers are opened. So starting December Mengi, I want to agree with Churchill as he comes. The issue of Article 35 of our Constitution remains alive, and Kenyans have the right to ask for that information. Smartmatics refused to open the servers. They wrote a letter. We still have it. So those who are saying you open the server, you know what Smartmatics your friends did. If you are smart enough, tell your Smartmatic friends to open the server. Story hii kwishe, Suba Churchill, Karibu, read us the resolutions, then we'll bring our two leaders to speak to us. Karibu sana.
Thank you very much. I'll take us through the resolutions of this kikao that we have had. Resolutions of the consultative forum held at Ufungamano House on the 13th day of April 2023. It is numbered number 1 all the way to number 13, perhaps to coincide with the date. On the consultative meeting held on the 13th April 2023 at Ufungamano House, the participants appreciated the citizens, civil society, faith community, representatives of various progressive movements and formations, and the Azimio leadership for participating in an open, honest conversation on matters affecting the people of Kenya, and the commitment for a culture of reasoning together and the holding of consultations based on truth, dignity, and respect. The meeting encourages participants to continue to hold consultations with various sections of the Kenyan society and be committed to developing a credible framework for national dialogue that reflect, among others, the following values and principles. 2, the high cost of living. Bringing down the cost of unga, electricity, fuel, and other essential commodities is an unnegotiable demand of the people of Kenya. It must be a priority area of discussion in any negotiations. Number 3, solution 3, on the national dialogue process. It is critical to have a credible, inclusive, independent, and participatory national dialogue process that represents different shades of opinion of the Kenyan people. It is a constitutional imperative to ensure the meaningful participation of the people of Kenya in the national dialogue. Number 4, on the parties to the dialogue. The parties to the national dialogue shall include representatives of various citizen formations, the Azimio coalition and the Kenyakwanza coalition. Number 5, on the values and principles for national dialogue that are alluded to under Resolution 1. The values and principles of the national dialogue framework shall include respect for the ethos, values, and letter of the Constitution of Kenya, including sovereignty of the people, supremacy of the Constitution, participation of the people, respect of human rights, equality, equity, dignity, utmost good faith, commitment to finding genuine solutions to urgent problems facing the people of Kenya, stewardship, and consensus building. Number 6, on the subject matters of the national dialogue. Each party to the national dialogue shall be allowed to put forward a set of thematic concerns for the national dialogue. No party shall have a veto power on the thematic concerns and or right to oppose a proposed thematic concern from another party. Number 7, on the membership of the national dialogue. Each party shall nominate an equal number of membership and shall at any time have the power to recall any of its members and appoint a new one. Number 8, on the space and venue for the national dialogue. The official national dialogue should be held on a neutral ground, although various spaces can host conversations that can feed into and aid in the dialogue. Number 9, on decision making. Decisions shall be made through consensus and based on the principle of equality of parties involved in the national dialogue process. Number 10, which is on the time frame for the national dialogue. The national dialogue shall be held expeditiously and without undue delays, and shall be completed within a period of 30 days. Number 11, on citizen engagements. The people thank the Azimio leadership for organizing an intimate engagement with the citizens and discussing matters that concern them. They have requested the leadership to hold many more of such sessions all over the Republic of Kenya. Number 12, on the final outcome of the national dialogue. The final outcome, including the narrative report that may include proposals for constitutional, legal, policy, and administrative instruments and stroke measures, shall be subjected to the necessary and meaningful participation of the people. The agreement emerging from the national dialogue shall be given the force of law without any alteration whatsoever. The last one, which is number 13, Resolution 13, on the resumption of peaceful protests as enshrined in the Constitution. The people observed worrying signs of lack of seriousness from the kenyakwanza regime to an honest, inclusive, and credible process of national dialogue, and have called on the Azimio leadership to immediately resume maandamano immediately after the end of the holy month of Ramadan. Those are the resolutions of this meeting.
All right, I think we shall put the questions in here. So you may scare the resolutions. Will as many as of a similar mind say aye? Aye? May as many of us of a different opinion say nay? Aye. The ayes have it. The ayes have it. So may I now bring to you a lady who would have been the first woman deputy president of the Republic of Kenya, our own Kamala Harris, and we know that when that server is opened, I have no doubt the person who's going to address you next will be the first woman deputy president of the Republic of Kenya. And she was also the Minister for Justice, And I do remember when she started that process, she set up a multi-sectoral constitutional review forum. And she included civil society and all of us, all sectors of our society, in the review of our constitution that led to the 2010 constitution. And we are very honored that she has come back home because she has a very strong civil society background and networks. She's amongst friends. I don't need to introduce her here. And I would want to ask her to come and address you. And after addressing you, she will bring the people's president.
Power. Comrades' power. May I explain and say, when we are in a struggle, we are all comrades. It's not just for the student leadership. It's comrades in the struggle. Your Excellency, Raila Amolo Odinga, the leader of Azimio, and we believe the person who was actually elected president of the Republic of Kenya, my colleagues in the leadership of Azimio, religious leaders, all very distinguished participants of this forum. It is a great day that we are meeting to discuss, and the day was yours today. We were listening to you. And what came through to most of you who spoke, firstly was the question, why are we negotiating? In any dispute, if any of the people disputing calls for a truce, it's always good for the opposite side to listen and say, yes, let's talk. But at the slightest indication that the call for truce was not in good faith, then action must be taken. And the resolutions have already directed us to the action that we must take. So as leaders, we stood behind our leader when he gave a counter offer and conditions for discussions. So why are we saying the talks should be out of Parliament? On neutral grounds, where we can all discuss as equals, where the two sides can discuss as equals. And for you to know what our grievances are, the cost of living, that goes without saying. And all of you have mentioned it when you asked that Article 43 on basic rights be implemented. And while waiting for its implementation, the cost of living must be attended to immediately. And I know the other side keeps on saying they have given fertilizer to farmers. Would just like to tell them that Kenyans don't eat fertilizer. They plant with it. And when you plant, it takes 3 to 4 months for results to be seen. You cannot answer the question of no food on the average Kenyan table by saying you have issued fertilizers. There has to be an immediate solution to an immediate problem as we wait for what has been planted. There's something I said immediately the results, or even before the fake results were announced by the Chebukati Commission, that Azimio had a majority of members of Parliament. May I repeat that here now, that the total number of Azimio members of Parliament, of the National Assembly and Senate, which forms Parliament, is still higher than that of Kenyakwanza, even today. They hold the post of majority leader, but they do not deserve it. If you go to the website of Parliament to see how people were elected, you will still see that Azimio has the majority up to today, because they have not formally, none of the parties has formally migrated to Kenyakwanza. Azimio is a majority party. If you go to the counties, Azimio has 24 elected governors. 2 migrated after elections, but informally. Having 24 as against Kenyakwanza's 21 means that automatically they have a majority. So when we are saying our leader won, it is not a joke. And actually, Azimio didn't just have 24 counties, it's 24 governors. But the counties where Azimio candidate was leading, presidential candidate was leading, are 26. Actually, they are 27, not 26. 27. Narok, Azimio was leading. Today, it has a UDA governor who was declared in Nairobi, not in Narok. Nairobi, the seat went to UDA for governor, but the vote was Azimio. Taita Taveta, an independent, the presidential vote went to Azimio. 27 counties versus 20 counties. Is it possible that they could have legitimately won? The answer is no. Hiyo mahesabu haiingiani, nitasema tena. Therefore, when we ask for the server, we want the truth to be out. And those who are telling us that the Supreme Court decided, yes, it did, and we disagreed with it. And I do not know how a court of law, let alone the Supreme Court, can allow a foreign company to refuse to open the servers when the Kenyan law, Kenyan constitution, says that the elections must be accountable and verifiable. How do you verify without the records? Following information by the whistleblower, which you have been shown today, any Kenyan under Article 35 can demand to be shown records held by IEBC. So when Azimio asks for servers to be open, we are asking it pursuant to our constitution. And our constitution is like no other. I do not know whether there is any other constitution that gives so much leeway to the citizen and that gives supremacy to and sovereignty to the people like our constitution. So anybody who is not familiar with our constitution ought not to question why, after a court process, we are asking for the servers. Because we are entitled, and the contract we made for ourselves, which is the constitution, entitled us to ask. And the simple question is, you say you won, why do you fear to open the server? The behavior, the body language tells you they know they did not win. Lakini server ni lazima itafunguliwa. Kama hautafungua, Wakenya watafungua kwa nguvu zao, zile wamepatiwa na katiba. We shall use our sovereignty as the people to ensure that the records are laid bare, so that we may be able to proceed. I want to very quickly remind you, 2007 elections were contested. We formed a coalition government. We never audited the actual results. We never got to know where the tank was leaking. 2013, the court did not give justice to the case. As a result, again, we never got to know what the problem was. 2017, the court gave justice but failed to give proper directions. And therefore, the repeat elections were held under the same cloud. and therefore boycotted by the opposition. The Malawi court subsequently did better than the Kenyan court. It looked at what the problem was and directed what must be done before the repeat elections. And Malawi got an opposition person as president. 2022 in Kenya, the court failed to give justice. And the whistleblower let us know what was in the server. We are therefore saying, do not ask us whether the whistleblower is accurate. Do not ask us whether our information is accurate. The responsibility to keep records is not ours. It belongs to a body we pay called the IEBC. Open the servers and the truth will be known once and for all. If we do not open these servers, we shall be again sweeping the dirt under the carpet, and one day this nation will explode. We must have the servers opened this time, and that is period. Finally, I want to say this, that all demonstrations by Azimio have been peaceful. Even when they try to lie, the truth always out. They lied in pictures about the past demonstration, but the nation, and I want to thank the NTV group, the nation was able to uncover those lies by reminding us that these were pictures taken from before. Some were not even Kenyan. Shame on anyone trying to feed Kenyans with lies. And even that apology by the DCI was not sincere, because the behavior of sections of the police has continued to be the same. Recently, a police officer died from injuries during a demonstration in Kisumu. What did they say? That the officer was killed by Azimio demonstrators, only for information to leak that he was run over by a police vehicle, and up to this day, we do not know whether they ever stopped to take him to hospital or whether he was taken much later. Shame on them for trying to paint Azimio as violent. All our demonstrations have been peaceful. Hell breaks loose only when police throw tear gas and shoot us with live bullets. We want to say, you can have the might of guns. We shall arm ourselves with the might of the masses. Is gun power versus people power. It is the smoke of whatever chemicals they throw at us, tear gas versus people power and people resilience. Recently, in Tharaka Nithi, Chuka, they killed the Boda Boda chairman. It was not an Azimio demonstration. But because they had given instructions that all demonstrations are outlawed, it's as though they changed the constitution in their dreams. They used the same force they were using on Azimio on the residents of Tharaka Nithi who are demonstrating, resulting in 2 deaths. I want to appeal to our police, and I know a majority of them are professional. For the few wayward ones, stop using excessive force on fellow citizens. Stop obeying illegal orders. Treat citizens the way you treat your employer. They are the people paying you. So finally, Zain should have been here to hear me say finally twice. I want to say that we will win because we stand for the truth. Hata hatujipigi kifua kusema ati tuko na results. Hizi ndizo results. Tunasema fungua server which will separate wheat from chaff. We realize the nation belongs to us all. And for those calling us names, please don't turn our country to nchi ya wakosa adabu. Refer to people in a proper way. Show maturity and leadership, not immaturity and conmanship. Let the people go. Let Kenyans go from the clutches of evil, from the clutches of injustice, and let the social justice that is being demanded here today thrive. My sister Caroline, I wouldn't worry about Kanchori's book because he is giving his truth as he sees it. One may dispute a section or another, but there is no doubt that the young man is Azimio blood and that he did his work when he was sent to do. Let us allow open debate on issues, even when some of you do not agree 100% with what people say. Without much ado, allow me to call our leader, His Excellency Raila Amolo Odinga. Thank you.
Get up, stand up. Stand up.
Hey. Hamjambo. Asasi za kijamii, hamjambo. Comrades power. Comrades power. Asanteni sana, you may be seated. I think I know you've sat for a long time. And therefore, after sitting for so long, the other process sets in. Now, the biggest disadvantage, speaking at last, that everything else has been said. So you now find yourself just dealing with the dregs. But let me first begin by thanking members of the civil society, members of the university fraternity, and our students for coming here in such large numbers. We decided that we have been talking too much sometimes to ourselves, that today we want to be listeners. Let us sit down and listen to the people. And you have not disappointed. Those who had opportunity to talk have not disappointed. And we take it that those who have spoken is a representative sample of this audience which is here today. And therefore, I'm going to just tell you what we ourselves had agreed as leadership of Azimio to be our common position. This is not just my stand, it is the Azimio leadership stand. And then I will finish by just saying a few things at the end of it. Okay? But here, as Ongwen said, and Eugene has remembered, we are in holy grounds here at Ufungamano House. Many, many ideas have come from this holy place, which have actually contributed to change of lives of the people of our country. Ufungamano, sometimes we remember with nostalgia where we came from. Eugene has told you we used to be here with our parents who have since left us. And they told us how they actually themselves organized themselves to fight against colonialism and how independence was achieved. At that time, Kenya was facing one of the most entrenched dictatorships in our history. But we were able to basically tame that dictatorship. So nothing is impossible with the people power. If the people are determined, there's nothing that can stop them from achieving what they want to achieve. Over the decades, This venue has become synonymous with our quest for a more perfect nation. Each time we have taken a stand here, the nation has overcome confusion, doubts, and fear, and taken a stand for the better. Although we have held deliberations here that shaped our nation, none has taken place under circumstances as worrying as is the case currently. Kenyans have never had to struggle this hard to put food on the table or take their children to school. Even the civil servants have never gone without pay up to the 13th of the month. When we held frequent meetings at this venue in the 80s, 90s, and early 2000s, we aimed to end the single-party rule and give ourselves a new constitution. As we meet today, both the multi-party democracy and the constitution we fought for are under attack. Our electoral system is under attack, and all the work that we have done in creating the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission and introducing the use of technology into our elections are clearly going to waste. Despite the Constitution that calls for inclusivity in public affairs, the professional civil service that we have tried to build since independence is being dismantled through tribal appointments and sackings. It seems to be the fate of this country that each time we are on the ascendancy, something happens to pull us backwards, and it always begins with elections. The election of 2007 pushed us to the brink, wiped out a thriving economy, and broke the ties that had held Kenya together for decades. This election of 2022 and the regime that emerged from it may be the most regrettable thing to have happened in our country's history. The failures they have recorded in a mere 6 months, including record of high cost of food and a collapsing economy, should be enough warning that we have to act quickly and decisively. We have been told, and I quote, "The only thing necessary for the triumph of evil is for good men to do nothing. Read also good women," unquote. Our presence here underscores our refusal to be the good people who did nothing and allowed evil to triumph in our country. Something fundamental must give this time round. Otherwise, we could lose a whole country. Our wish is to achieve the overhaul of our state of affairs with the involvement of the people from all segments of our society at every stage. We will engage in the bipartisan process to which we have sent very able and competent representatives. But the people must not be left out or behind. We are not going into this dialogue for deals in smoke-filled rooms. We are going into this to secure and safeguard fundamental life and death gains for the people and the country. Throughout the talks, we expect the people to stand on guard and ensure it's about them and the country. That's why we are gathered here today, so that people can consult and engage and be watchful. You must refuse to be party to the subterfuges of the past that glossed over and compromised on fundamental issues for expediency. Something fundamental must give this time round, but only if the people stay engaged. We are not going into this to be rubber stamps. One of the things that has clearly been on display ever since these past 6 months is that Kenyakwanza is a regime of rubber stamps. Subsidies are being removed from food, fuel, electricity, and school fees, exposing people to suffering, and Kenyakwanza rubber stamps it as okay. They know there was an order for the opening of the IB servers, but the rubber stamp is as okay the refusal to open the servers. They know the buying of MPs to switch sides undermines our hard-won multi-party democracy, but they still rubber stamp it as okay. People are being appointed to and sacked from the civil service on tribal lines, but Kenyakwanza rubber stamps it as okay. You have not agreed to participate in the bipartisan process to be another rubber stamp for Kenyakwanza. That has to be understood from the outset. Should the talks falter or bear no fruit because of the grandstanding, lack of openness, lack of honesty, and intransigence of our opponents, the people will have no option but to take their future and that of their country into their hands. Already, we are seeing signs of intransigence from the Kenyakwanza, which is trying to determine for us what to take to the discussion table. For avoidance of doubt, our issues remain what we have always said they are. 1, immediate steps to lower the cost of food, fuel, and school fees. 2, opening and forensic audit of IVC election servers. 3, restructuring and reconstitution of the IEBC and the reinstatement of the 4 IEBC commissioners. 4, an end to the poaching of MPs to order side. Let us engage, let us join hands, and let us stand firm in the interests of our country. Finally, we have said that we are not doing this because of any weakness on our side. We are only saying that Kenya is bigger, and that's why we are saying that we want to engage. Nobody should mistake this as a sign of weakness. We have embraced these talks before, but there must be talks which are going to be held with equal respect, mutual respect, and also with time in line with the law. The Kenyakwanza have been saying we cannot do something outside the constitution and the laws. No law actually stops a dialogue outside parliament. In fact, we have had this before. When we were in a crisis, we had talks held at Serena Hotel, chaired by even a foreigner. Those talks were not considered to be illegal or unconstitutional. In the end, the product was taken to Parliament and approved unanimously by members of Parliament. We are in a similar situation here today. The police have shown complete disregard to the lives of our people. Many innocent Kenyans have died Last week I visited Kenyans in hospitals, Rigathi Hospital and Kenyatta Hospital. Young people shot by the police. Their only crime was that they were participating in a demonstration which was illegal because the police had been notified. A young man in Kisumu was knocked by police as a police officer. That young man who was knocked in Kisumu, just for the understanding of everybody around here, is my nephew. Actually, not my nephew, my grandson. His mother is my niece. I'm the one who actually recruited him to take him to the police. Then they go and arrest innocent people and charge them with murder. The other Kenyans, journalists, just basically accompanying us when we were demonstrating, have been shot, some of them very seriously wounded by the police. Nothing has happened. So we have said as Azimio that we are going to take this matter to the highest court in the world. Already our lawyers are working on this, and we are going to take the particulars of all those police officers who have been involved in deliberate shooting and killing or maiming innocent Kenyans to a court which is outside our jurisdiction as a people, to ensure that justice is achieved. But they can come with live bullets. They can come with bombs. We will go and confront them in the name of the Lord and the God of Kenya. And we are sure, like the biblical David will confront Goliath, and we know what will happen to Goliath. So we, therefore, want to thank all of you for coming. Tunatoa shukrani sana kwenu kwa kutualika sisi kama wanazimio kuja kusikia. Tumesikia yale mnayosema yote na tutayabeba, lakini vile vile tunasema Wakenya hawezi kutishwa. Wakenya watasimama imara. Wakenya wataendelea. Sasa tumekubali mazungumzo ziendelee, lakini mimi nakubaliana na pendekezo ambayo imetoka hapa siku ya leo. Ati mazungumzo yaendelee. Mazungumzo yaendelee na maandamano sambamba. Dawa ya moto ni? Dawa ya moto ni? Kwa hivyo sisi tutaendelea. Tutaendelea. Sitaendelea. Tunangoja Ramadhani ishi. Ramadhani kisha namna hii tutatangaza. Tutatangaza. Na mtaitika. 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 Tulikuwa naimba namna hii. Nikiitwa mtaitika. Nikiitwa mtaitika. Nikiitwa nitaitika. Kupambana kwa Afrika. Oh, kupambana, kupambana, kupambana kwa ukombozi. Oh, kupambana, kupambana, kupambana kwa ukombozi. Azimio. Azimio. Asante sana.
Niombe sote tusimame kwa wimbo wa taifa utakaoashiria mwisho wa hafla yetu ya siku ya leo. Kofia zisizo rasmi niombe zisalie kuvuliwa. Wimbo wa taifa. Asante. Mkono wa rehema uwe juu yako, kinara wetu mpendwa, na tupatie viongozi wetu nafasi ya kuondoka mwendo wa aste aste.